up, everybody? My name is Amin Phillips. You're watching the Sticky Web Domains channel. Sorry, guys. I know I was supposed to be live about 30 minutes ago, but I've been having some serious issues with my camera, so I had to start a whole new stream, and I hope you guys are able to find me on this one. I know I scheduled an event for earlier, and I don't know how that works when you are not using that event. So I hope you guys find me here. But anyways, I wanted to do a Q&A because it has been a minute since I've been live with you guys. I've been busy working on my channel trailer and making videos for you guys and working for the railroad. So I have not had a lot of time to go live lately. So I thought maybe it's time I do a live chat with you guys. So as always, you guys know how this works. If you are a subscriber, I just want to say welcome back. If you are new to this channel and you're just watching for the first time, well, welcome to the Sticky Web Domains Nation. We love to have you. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I am here to answer questions for you guys. And I figured, while I'm waiting on questions and waiting for people to find me, I will go into detail about 3 jobs on the railroad that a lot of people just don't know about. When we talk about the railroad, we talk about a conductor, a switchman, or a brakeman, which a lot of people don't realize that when you're a conductor, you're also a switchman and you're also a brakeman, and you have the seniority date for each title. So my seniority could be different as a switchman, and my brakeman seniority might be different than a conductor. So, excuse me. A lot of people, when they see that conductor job and they apply for it, they don't realize that they're also applying to be a switchman and a brakeman. So just want to put that out there, and I think I'll go into more detail about that. But today I wanted to talk about the 3 jobs that I don't think a lot of you guys know at all. And those 3 jobs are utility, a hostler, which is someone who can move around an engine just like an engineer without going to engineer school and without being an engineer. The only difference is that you cannot have cars attached. You can only move around the what they call light locomotive, which means you can only move the engine around without anything attached to it. And I also wanted to talk about RCO, remote control. So I wanted to kind of go into details about these jobs because when you go onto the railroad and you get hired, you may be asked to do one of these jobs, and you might say, well, what? I never even heard of that. What is it? So I thought I would educate you guys on that. What's up, Eric? How do you say that? Eric Axel Matson? How you doing, man? I don't know if I've seen you on the channel before, but welcome. I'm glad you're here. And looks like you got a question. It says, have you ever heard of someone just not clearing medical? I'm still waiting on a release to start. So when you say, have I ever heard of someone not clearing medical, do you mean, is it possible for someone not to pass the medical exam? Is that what you're asking me? Is it possible not to pass it? Because in my last video, I was talking about how to lose weight for the BMI. And I featured a comment by, his name was Mike T. Refinery, I believe. And he told me that he was an alternate as a conductor, but he did not pass his medical. And I think he did not pass the BMI, which is the body mass index. So yes, it is possible to fail a medical exam. Now, it depends on the railroad you're hiring with, though. Not all the railroads do the body mass index. So if you're talking about trying to hire on with Norfolk Southern or CN or CP, I don't even know if Union Pacific has a body mass index. If you guys know the answer to that, let me know. Hold on a second. Let me turn my phone off. I do this every time. Sorry, you guys. Let me just turn this off so I don't get any interruptions. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you guys know the answer to that, let me know. And then okay, so you're saying I'm UP. I passed everything except medical. My medical still says additional review required. My recruiter has moved my scheduled start date twice. Well, that's strange, because if something's going on with your medical, why won't the recruiter just tell you what the issue is? You know, if you didn't pass a certain part of that medical, you would think the recruiter would just tell you that, right? So I'm almost thinking not to be concerned about it, because if it was something to be concerned about, I think you would know by now that something is an issue. So the fact that they have not said you didn't pass something means that I wouldn't worry about it. It could simply mean that they just have too many people and they need to break the classes up and they need to put you in a different class. Or maybe some other people beat you to the test and they've already got all their stuff done and cleared and they're ready to go. So they're going to start the class earlier than you are, and they're going to push you back into another class because maybe the medical clinic, they're slow on getting the results back to the UP. So, you know, if you haven't heard anything saying that, you know, you didn't pass, I wouldn't worry about it. Just, you know, relax, chill out. Wait till you hear something before you know, panic. It could be simply just trying to get you into another class because, you know, maybe they got another class ready to go right now. So just, you know, be cool with that. But since you are with UP, do you know if there's a body mass index with UP? Did they mention that? Did you do that? The BMI? Let us know here in the comments or on the chat. I really want to know if they do, do the BMI. I did hear that they do the hang test, which I thought was funny. I heard that, you know, you guys got to hang from a bar for like a minute or 2 minutes or something like that. With BNSF, I don't remember doing a hang test, but I do believe Brian Smith, a conductor for UP who also does videos on YouTube, he mentioned something about a hang test, and I thought that was kind of strange because we didn't do that for BN. So, all right, so there you go. Enough about that. Let's get right into the meat of this video, you guys. And I am going to educate you on some jobs that you probably don't know about, and I don't want you to be surprised when you get on the railroad and you may have to do it. Let's see what Eric is saying. No BMI so far in testing, but yes, I did have to hang from a bar in several different positions. Yeah, I heard that. And I also seen Norfolk Southern, I believe in their training. I've seen some videos where they did some kind of hang test. Then they had to talk on the radio while they're hanging and all kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, okay. But no, with BN, we never did a hang test. You just kind of learn as you go. You jump on a car and you ride it, and that's your hang test. There is no hang test with BN. So, but yep, I'm glad to know that. So let's get into the meat of this, you guys. What I want to show you is this key here. Some of you guys might know what this is. And you guys watching, you guys know what this is. If you know what it is, put it in the chat. If I'm going to tell you. But this is a reverser. Okay. What's up, Lewis? How you doing, man? You're from Texas. I'm glad to meet you. Glad you're here with us. If you got any questions for me, feel free to ask. This is a Q&A, and I'm educating you guys on 3 jobs you probably didn't know about. So for people just now coming on, I'm just kind of get you up to speed. But this is a reverser. This is what you need to move a light locomotive. This is also pretty cool because there's 2 ways you can start a locomotive, probably 3 or 4, I don't know. But the 2 ways I start a locomotive is with this key. By putting this reverser in and you put it in forward or reverse, this can actually start the locomotive. There's also a manual way of starting it, and you have to open doors to a locomotive, and it's a process with that, but in this manual. But this is the easiest way to start an engine is by using this reverser key. The reason I have one is because I am a certified hostler. A hostler is a railway employee who is certified to move engines around, take them to like the roundhouse, which is like the repair for engines, or they refuel them, they clean them, they test them, make sure everything's good with the air and everything. So a lot of times hostlers, they have to take those engines down to the roundhouse for service. Also, a hostler will also have to DP engines. So when an engine's coming, when you might have a route coming back from a trip, from being on the road, and the DPs are facing one way, but you have to get it to face the other way, then that means I have to end the DP on one side and start it on the other side. And that's just a whole nother topic. And if you guys aren't familiar with DPing, then there's no point in me going crazy with that. But just to let you know that a hostler is responsible for DPing units and getting engines to the roundhouse for service and whatever else the yard master might want you to do with the light locomotive. Okay. So a hostler is a job you can expect to get on the railroad. Now, a lot of railroads, from what I heard, have been doing away with hostlers because it's basically an engineer could do it. And there's no need for hostlers for some railroads. Now, BNSF, where I'm at my terminal here, they still use hostlers. As far as UP and CN or CSX, I don't know how many other railroads are using hostlers anymore. Because like I said, an engineer can do the same job as a hostler, but I think the hostler is kind of a backup to the engineer. Kind of a hostler can do the job so that an engineer don't have to waste his time doing it, and it frees up that engineer to do more important things like going on the road or working in the yard and getting work done. So you may or may not ever hear about the term hostler or the job at your terminal. It all depends on where you're at, where you're working, and what railroad you're working at. But if you do hear about it and you're asked to be a hostler, there is a test. And with BNSF, if you are going to be hired on with BNSF, you are required to pass a hostler exam. And I do believe that's one of the first exams you will take. And regardless if you want to be a hostler or not, you have to pass the hostler exam. So now, do they do that exam at all the BNSF terminals? I'm not sure. It could depend on the location you're at. So I'm sorry, but I don't know the exact answer to it. But in some locations, you will have to take a hostler's exam. And that was the first test that I took. And you do have to get a 90% on that test. So I just wanted to show you guys that this is a hostler reverser. Once you become hostler certified, you will get one of these, and you keep it on you when you come to work. because you cannot move that that engine without a reverser. Okay, so this is a reverser. This is what you're gonna get when you become a hostler. Let's see who joined us and or what questions do we have. Is that a cat? No, that's a dog behind me. That is Oliver. He is furry as I don't know what, shedding everywhere, licking, getting on my nerves. All I keep hearing is lick, 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 and it drives me crazy. But yeah, we actually do got 3 cats though, and that is rough for me. My girlfriend loves these animals. I'll just sit around having all kind of allergies and itching and hair all over my hats, and I got to keep putting lint brushes. So yeah, we got all kind of animals here. But yep, that's a dog. Felix asked that question. How you doing, Felix? Thanks for joining us, man. Lewis, I believe, has a question. I applied at BNSF 1 month ago yesterday, and I passed my assessment. I still haven't received an email or call, but when I log in to the website, my application still shows that it's under review. How long does it usually take to hear back for an interview or to at least tell me no? Well, let's see. You got an interview. Well, let's see. Did you get an interview or did you just get the assessment? It says, I passed my assessment. I still haven't received an email or call. Okay, so, okay, so you're waiting to get an interview. Oh, yeah, it can be a minute, man. You know, just be patient with that. If you pass the assessment, then just know that you're good. That assessment, I think, is good for like 6 months or something like that. So if you pass that, you're already in there. Just, the railroad, they got a lot of people applying. They're trying to get to everybody. So it does take a little bit of time. You just have to be patient on getting that answer. So just be patient. It's all about patience, man. You might hear something real soon. What area did you apply for at BNSF, or what location, what city you're going to be at? Let us know. Looks like Chris, how do you say that? Memes? Every time I see that name, I try to figure out how the hell to pronounce that because I can't pronounce word Jack. Chris Memes, I think, but I'm sorry. I'm jacking up the name. But what's up, man? I know you've been on the channel for a while. You're probably one of my first subscribers. So how you doing? Thanks for supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys, for coming. Eric's got a question. The railroad so far has been a lot of hurry up and wait. Yep, you're going to see that. My recruiter told me sometimes the waiting is the hardest part. Yes. And even when you get the job on the railroad, you're still going to hurry up and wait. I mean, when you're on the road and there's a train coming by, you're going to have to wait on the siding for that train to pass before you might even be able to proceed. Sometimes it can be an hour and a half. When you're on the road and you go to the hotel and you have to wait for a train to take back home with you, you could wait up to 24 hours. Sometimes I heard guys wait up to 2 days before they get back home because they're waiting on a train to be ready to take back. So I will tell you guys this, you have to have patience when it comes to the railroad. It is a bunch of hurry up and wait. They are not in a hurry on the railroad. Safety is their biggest concern. And patience is something you guys definitely want to practice and get better at if you want a job on the railroad, because everything is going to feel like it's taking forever. Even when I get to work, we don't actually probably start our work day like until 30, 45 minutes, an hour after I get there, because we brief with each other. It's called a JSP, job safety briefing, and we brief with the yard master. So before we even start our day, an hour already goes by. I mean, there is no rush on the railroad as far as mine. I don't know about, I know there are some more aggressive railroads like CN, they're very aggressive. That I think they're really, let's get it. So, but for the most part, you will be doing a lot of waiting when it comes to the railroad. So be ready to accept that fact. Now, so you guys got the whole hostler part down pack. Let's see. What else did I want to show you guys? Once you guys have got your certifications, right? You're a hostler. Let's say you do want to be a hostler. You go to like a week class of that, and you train and RCO conductor certified. You're gonna get a card. All right. So you probably can't see mine because of the light and everything. But anyways, this is a card you're gonna keep on you. This card is gonna tell you your certifications. Mine basically says I'm a hostler, conductor, and RCO qualified. And when you're doing RCO work or hostler work, you want, or even as a conductor, you always want to keep this card in your pocket, in your wallet, in case of an accident or something like that. You can show the police or people on the scene that you are a certified conductor or a hostler or RCO operator. So it's very important to keep these cards on you once you get your certifications. All right. So once you guys get those certifications, you will be getting these bad boys in the mail. Also, let's talk about a utility job. So you know what a hostler job is. I explained that to you guys. The next job you could expect to do in the yard, if you're not on the road, and a lot of you guys might not be on the road, depending on what railroad you're going to hire with. For the most part, you know, you need seniority to hold the road. Like, you know, it depends on how busy the railroad is. If the railroad is shorthanded and very busy, you might get lucky. You might work the road a lot. And that's if you even want to work the road, you know. I actually wanted to work the road when I was in class and everything. But after not working the road and been working a yard and getting my days off and a 7.5 work day, 7 hour and a half, I'm kind of getting spoiled to the yard. I mean, it's a regular lifestyle, I feel like. The road can be a turn and burn lifestyle. You get calls early in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock a.m. And in the yard, you know, it's first, second, third shift. And so I'm kind of getting used to that. So I'm kind of liking working in the yard. There is money to be made on the road, but you can also make good money in the yard too, with overtime and things like that. So, you know, you'll find your place and you'll figure out what you like and what jobs you prefer. So you guys will get a taste of that and everything. But my next job I want to describe as a utility guy or utility. Okay. Here is what you call a switch key. All right. These are gaskets that I like to keep on me just in case a gasket blows on me. I can always have a gasket on hand because some of these gaskets on these glad hands, they can go. And the last thing you need is to lose air when you transfer a train from point A to B, you want at least, 90 PSI of air. So by having a fresh gasket, you're going to keep that seal real tight and you're going to have a safe transfer of that train. So always keep gaskets with you guys. I like to keep a ring like this. That way I can keep things on it, like my gaskets and keys. Here's another switch key. I think this is a switch key for CN for when I'm on their line. And this is an engine key. Well, this key actually is to lock the engine doors and secure the engine. So you guys are going to be issued keys. And as a utility guy, your job is to help out the crews, right? So I had no idea about what a utility guy was until I started. I was a little freaked out about the job because I felt like to be a utility guy, you have to really know the yard and you got to know the switches, the throw. You got to really know what's going on so you can be helpful to all the crews. So I was terrified to be a utility guy because, they might say, hey, we're coming in on the coal runner and we need you to line us up to come into track 24. And I'm like, okay, what is the coal runner? And, as a new person, you don't even know the tracks yet. You don't know everything. but there is maps available. They call them playbooks. If you guys have playbooks available, I very highly suggest you make use of those. I actually laminated a couple so I can keep some on me. Those things come in handy. They're like little maps that basically give you a layout of the yard, where the switches are, the derails. And so when somebody asks you to do something, you got an idea where it's at. So if you guys ever get a job in the yard, and if you're on the extra board, which is also known, we call it the 40 board, the extra board, then that means you can work just about any job, right? You can get called for road jobs, switchman, conductor, brakeman, utility, hostler, whatever. As long as you're qualified, you're going to be eligible to work it, okay? So have your keys on you as a utility guy, because when there are switches outside of the yard, there's usually locks on those so that random kids or random people can't throw a switch. And, the last thing you want to do as an engineer or on a train is think that you're lined up and the switch is against you, and you could possibly derail the train or run the switch. And running a switch is basically just, going the wrong direction on that switch and destroying it. And then that costs money. And then you have to go and take a drug test. The whole crew has to take a drug test, and it's a big mess. So you don't want to run a switch. So a lot of times when switches are outside of the yard, they are locked up. And the last thing you want to do is not have your keys for those switches. So have your keys on you, be prepared as a utility guy, right? Another thing about a utility guy is that you will be driving like the company vans. When you are at work in utility, there's a vehicle provided to you, because you will be driving around the yard, lining up for the crews or bleeding off air. A lot of times the yard master will give me a list and say, hey, we need track 24 bled off. And that just means that you got to go to each car and pull that bleed rod and release the air on those cars. So that's another thing you'll be asked to do, is bleed cars off. You'll be most likely asked to watch movements such as a shove movement. If a train is big, if you got like, let's say 100 cars and it needs to do a backup move, well, the crew at the front ain't going to be able to see that backup move. They can't protect the shove. So they're going to call a utility guy to say, hey, utility, we need you to get back there and let us know how many cars we can come back. Are we good for 20 cars, 30? Are we good for only 3? So you have to watch the shove for the crews. They're going to ask you to do that. Another job utility guy might be asked to do is to help with applying or taking off handbrakes. So again, if there's 100 cars on a train and I'm at one end and the crew's at the other working, they're going to call me and say, hey, we need you to take the handbrakes off. So I have to attach to the crew and say, hey, this is utility. I would like to attach to job 316. And everybody in that crew has to acknowledge that you are attached to the crew and that you are going to go in between to take off handbrakes. So there's a big process with that. You guys are going to learn all of that when you go to class and school. So utility guy, remember that job. You might be asked to do it. And all I'm saying is to be prepared, have your keys ready. It's very intimidating at first when you're a utility guy, but a lot of people are helpful. And like I said, get those playbooks, get the maps for the yard, and just go do the best you can in a safe manner. If you don't know something, just ask. You guys, everything will be okay. Let me see what kind of questions I got, if any. I've been rambling on, and I haven't even been looking at the chat. So let's see what we got. Let's see. Tony Green, what's up, man? How you doing? I know we've talked a few times on comments. I start on the 22nd of October as a conductor. Any advice? Well, where are you at, man? What what city you're going to be working at, what terminal, what railroad. You know, I like to know that. I like to know what railroad you guys got hired on to. That way I can kind of probably help you with the, you know, tell you what to expect if I know the railroad you're going to be at. But yeah, what to expect? Just expect to take in a lot of information, man. Expect to clear your mind of nonsense that doesn't pertain to the railroad, and be ready to have room to put that in here, because you're gonna need it, man. I'm not good at studying. I suck. I always sucked. I always hated school. I had to really buckle down to get through them testing, because I don't like to sit down and study for nothing. And I really had to take notes and start to relearn how to retain information. And good, you know, I had instructors and coordinators that were willing to work with me on that stuff. So all I can say is come focus and come with your A game. You know, if there's anything distracting you, just try to block it and just focus on that 17 weeks of training or whatever weeks you might end up doing, because you don't want to start this thing and not finish it. You definitely don't want to get sent home because you couldn't pass an exam. That could be the worst feeling, I'm sure. So just be focused, man. That's the best advice I can give you. Let's see what else we got. Sorry, you guys. You guys are shooting these questions quick, and I gotta keep up here. Oh, do you take? Okay, I think I got that. Okay, Lewis said Amarillo. You're gonna be in Amarillo, Texas. That's a conductor. Okay, cool. Congratulations to that. Eric said the railroad so far has been a lot of hurry up and wait. Okay, we told me. Yeah, okay, we already did that. Derek, what's up, Derek? How you doing? He said, "What up, man? I am starting conductor training the 26th of November for BNSF. Any advice?" What's up, Derek? I hope you heard the advice I just gave to Tony, because it's the same advice, basically, man. Just be focused, get through the testing, have a clear head. Whatever is distracting you, just try to not to go to class with it. And don't waste your time. Don't waste the company's money. The trainings are a lot of money for the company. I heard every employee could cost up to $60,000 to get through the training itself. That's kind of like tuition to go to college. So just the opportunity they're giving you is great. Don't ruin that opportunity. Take advantage of the fact you were selected, and go ahead and knock it out the park, man. If I can do it, you guys can do it. Like I said, I'm not the smartest dude. I mean, well, I can't say that, but I have my smart ways are a little different than book. I'm not book smart exactly, because I'm 42. I've been out of school for a long time, so I don't retain a lot of that stuff. Entrepreneur wise, that's where my skills are at. So I had to relearn things on how to retain information. So I'm sure you guys are going to be okay as long as you do that. Like I said before, you guys get some study groups available. Study with other people if it helps you learn better. That's what I did too. So do that. Let's see. Polo, RT22. I start the 26th too. Okay, you're talking to Derek. All right. Derek said he's going to Longview, Texas. So it looks like you guys are just kind of having conversations with each other. Okay. Hold on, you guys. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing any questions here. All right, so here's a question from DR. What do you do if the rail car you are hanging onto derails? Oh man, I hope that don't happen, you guys. You guys, a lot of it is just basic, man. You bail, dude. what else can you do? If you guys think that there's an accident, okay, let me, when I first started, right, when I was a student, I remember I was hanging on a car and it was winter. And I remember a big snow pile was coming up. And I wasn't high enough on the stirrups on the side of the car, on the ladder. So it almost knocked me right off that ladder. So you guys look at your clearance points. And when I say clearance, just make sure when you're coming through something, a fence or whatever, that there's enough clearance for you guys to safely get through. There's a lot of, there's some fatalities on the railroad because people get scraped. And that means that they didn't have enough clearance or look at their clearance or, you know, before they were riding on a car. Sometimes you can be riding on a car and there might be another track next to you and that it might be too close of clearance and something like a ladder on another side of the track can knock you right off. So always know the clearance points and what's safe to ride and what's not. I would always say if you think something is not, you guys don't have to ride a car if you don't feel like it's safe. That's the first thing. If you guys ever feel like you can get hurt riding a car for any reason, because of the weather, because of ice, snow, then just don't ride it. Walk. You only ride a car when you know you can safely ride it. If something don't look right, if something looks sketchy, then don't even ride it. That's the best advice I can give you guys. If you happen to be on a rail car in a derailment situation, all I can try to say is try not to let that car fall on top of you. Do some kind of Jason Statham, whatever his name is, Jackie Chan type of flip roll or something. But do not fall in the direction that car is going to go in. And don't ride if it's not safe, you guys. No one can make you do something unsafe on the railroad. And if someone's telling you to do something it's unsafe or you feel like it's unsafe, then you have to then tell them, hey, I'm going to take this up with a manager. I don't feel safe riding that car. I'm not going to ride it. I'll walk. All right. So if you don't feel safe, then just don't do it. That's my best advice. Let's see what else you guys got for me. I'm glad you guys are, it looks like you guys are conversating a lot with each other. I'm glad to see that. You guys are kind of building a community and friendship here. So it's good to see you guys are talking to each other and getting to know each other. I'm glad that we got that kind of community here. And that's what Sticky Web Nation is all about, man. We are here to help each other out. We are here to give each other advice about the railroad, and we're a community, right? So I'm glad you guys are getting along and talking to each other and asking each other questions and becoming friends. That's great, man. I hope, as my channel grows, I hope we get more of that and, we just become a real big group, a community of railroaders who can help each other, Let's see. So Derek is basically, he's just saying, appreciate it, man. I've watched all your videos on it. How's the pay? Well, that question is tricky, man, because the pay it can vary depending on so many variables. I can't really tell you guys about a certain pay because I don't know the situation you're going to be in. I don't know if you're going to be on the road or if you're going to be in the yard. I don't know what railroad you're going to be working at. Like for example, if you're working on the road, let's say you happen to go work for CN, which is very aggressive railroad, and new hires probably do have a chance to work the road quite a bit. CN has a minimum work day of 10 hours. I think they're hourly, right? Excuse me. So think about that. If you're working a minimum day of 10 hours, 5 days a week, let's say, then, you put in 50 hours. And if you're working and that's the yard I'm talking about. If you're working on the road with CN, then you can probably be on the road for 16-hour days sometimes. And if you're doing the hotel, then that's even more. So You know, that's why, you know, when people bring up pay, it's very hard to give you guys a number because I don't know the situation you're going to be in. I don't know the railroad. Um, Here's another good example. Uh, well, like with BN, we start out at 80% where I'm at. I don't know if that's the case for all the BNs, but where I'm at is 80%, right? And then as you put your time in, you get 5% until you get up to 100%. Then you get 100% pay. Now, but if you are ever a foreman on a job, or you're on a conductor's board, or you just work a conductor's job in general, you're going to get 100% pay regardless of where you're, how long you've been there. So if I'm in the yard and I get called to be a foreman, then I'm going to get 100% pay for that day, right? So, but I heard with Union Pacific, they don't have a structure like that. I heard, I guess, rather if you're foreman or helper, regardless, you're going to get 80%. Or if that's even the percentage, I don't even know if it's 80%. Could be 75%. I don't know. It depends on the union agreement. But with BN, you can get 100% pay as a new hire if you're a foreman or a conductor on a job. So take that in consideration when you're hiring these railroads. Ask them that question: how and when will I be at 100% pay? Because that's what you want to know, is 100%. When did you get your 100%? And as far as UP, I heard that you got to put in the time to get up to 100%. They don't care if you're a conductor or a foreman on a job or whatever. You're not going to get 100% until you put in maybe 2, 3 years, 4 or 5 years. I don't know. So, make sure you get that information from where you hire at, is when will you be at 100% pay. Okay. Let's see. Scott D, how you doing, man? I know you've been on the comment boards and everything. Glad you joined us. Scott D is basically saying you've been staying busy. Yes, I have. I've been trying to keep up with the videos, man. It is tough, you guys. Shooting the videos, and then I gotta edit, and then I gotta upload, then I gotta make the thumbnail, then I gotta, put in the title, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's time consuming. So I'm doing it for you guys. I'm doing it for my subscribers. I'm putting in the work for you guys. So that's why I asked for you guys to subscribe and share it. If you guys can help me out, man, and share my videos, then I feel like my message and all this advice is getting put to good use. So if you guys know, if you got cousins and family that want to work on a railroad, or you think my information can help them, just share the videos. Let's get this information out there. That way, all this work I'm putting in and for videos and stuff don't go to waste. So it's a lot of time and effort that goes into being on YouTube. You guys probably know that. So I'm glad that, a lot of my videos have already helped you guys land some jobs and gave you guys the confidence to go out there and apply. So far we're doing good. All right. What else we got? Skilled Joe 55. What's up, man? I think I featured one of your comments before in one of my videos, but he basically said, I start November 26th with BNSF in El Paso. That's what's up. Good job, man. I'm glad that you got on. That's what these videos are for, to help everybody land these jobs, right? Let's see, DR. Will automation eliminate conductor positions in the future? Oh, man, you went there, didn't you? You had to go there. It's railroads are trying to save money, man. That's just how it is, back in the day, a train crew consisted of like probably 5 or 6 crew members. There were police officers on the train, there were firemen on the train, brakeman, conductor. And now, for the most part, there's only a conductor and an engineer, and sometimes a brakeman. So now, you might see a crew of 3 when it comes to road jobs. And for the most part, there's only a crew of 2. You just got that conductor and you have that engineer. So I heard that PCT technology, PCT, I believe that's the name, PCT. That sounds about right. PCT technology, which is a technology that the satellite basically can that allow. Okay, look, let's break this down. I believe the FRA has mandated that railroads have to be PCT compatible or up and running with PCT on a percentage, 5% of the trains or something like that. And PCT is basically a satellite system that can track the speed of the train, and kind of like track the movement. So, like if a train is going fast and is not slowing down, or it just seems like it's not responding to the signals, then that train can be slowed down and controlled remotely. Um, so as this technology, starts to come out, and then there's TO, which is Trip Optimizer, and what Trip Optimizer is, it's kind of like cruise control. An engineer punches in the trip, he punches in the where he's going or whatever, and the computer controls the train and knows the speed and everything. So yeah, I think in the future trains can be manned without a man. I mean, will it be safe? No. I don't. I feel like with all the expensive cargo that a train has and the damage that a train can do, I will be very surprised to see which railroads are going to want a unmanned train. That will be the day I would like to see. But there's been talks about crew members going from two to one, conductors being more of a utility style job where conductors are kind of in a mobile vehicle and they're kind of helping the engineer outside of the train. And so I heard a couple of railroads are trying to get away with the two-man conductor engineer thing, and they just want to engineer on the train. So we'll see what happens, man. I don't think it's a good idea. I feel like that conductor and that engineer together is a team that is needed so that that conductor can communicate with that engineer and they can keep each other awake and keep each other stimulated so there's no accidents, right? So we'll see where that goes. Let's see what other questions we got. Polo SR22. Have you actually heard of a primary recall happening? I got hired for a primary recall. Do they happen often? Um, I've heard of the term primary recall. I can't really remember exactly how it works. I believe that means that it's your home terminal, right? I mean, primary recall. I believe that's when you're hired at one terminal and then maybe you get sent to another terminal to work, but then they can recall you to come back to that original terminal. I believe that's what that type of that term means. I haven't heard a whole lot about this term or a whole lot about primary recall. Um, all I can say is to expect for it to happen if that's what it is. Because that's the thing on the railroad, you just want to go in expecting things and you know, don't just prepare yourself to know that it possibly could happen, right? So, if it does, if it doesn't, just prepare for yourself for the worst, man. And once you get up in seniority, then you can climb your way out of that. And so that's your best bet is to ride the wave and just build your seniority and then get up out of the situation, right? Um, let's see what else I got. Da-da-da-da. Let's see. PTC, yeah, positive train control. Thanks, Tony. Positive train control. So I think I said that right, right? PTC, is that what I said? Okay. Skill Joe made a comment. He said that BN worker in California told him that pay in El Paso for extra board was 7,000. Is that $7,600 a month guaranteed for the extra board? Is that the engineer's extra board, maybe? That sounds like a lot of, well, let's see, for the month. Yeah, okay, that I'm thinking on a half, but on a month, yeah, that, I guess that's about right. That's a 92 a year. I'm hoping I can hold the extra board. How hard is it to hold the extra board your first few years? I'm holding the extra board. That's all I've been doing. Like I told you guys, where I'm at, we call it the 40 board, extra board. I'm holding it. Um, my days off always, I always bid to different days off. Right now, I'm actually on Wednesday, Thursday days off. I've been on Thursday, Friday. I've been on Friday, Saturday. But those kind of good days, like Friday, Saturday, you hold them for about a week or two, then you get bumped. So I'm always bidding the different days and trying to hold some decent days. But as far as holding the board, I've been holding the extra board just fine. Um, Again, that just depends on your terminal, and that depends on the workload at the terminal. So there's a lot involved when it comes to that, you guys. Um, it depends on the season. Is it summer? Is it winter? Because things can slow down in the winter, and then you could possibly see a furlough, or you might get forced to another terminal, or you might have to chase work. So it depends on season and how the economy's looking. Um, but as far as holding the extra board, I mean, I hold it just fine. There's only four students from my class that were forced to go work at another terminal because they couldn't hold based on their seniority. Uh, I pulled second seniority in class, so I'm second, so I'm holding pretty good. A couple guys below me, they're holding just fine as well. So, I mean, it's kind of funny because there's times when guys below me thought for sure they couldn't hold because it didn't look like any spots were available. They thought they were going to get forced to another terminal. Next thing you know, all these openings come up and work is coming out of nowhere, and we're getting busy, and they don't go anywhere. So you just never know, man. You just never know. So just like I said, you guys ride the wave. It's a journey, man. And even if you can't hold, you know, they say your toughest years on the railroad, look, they say could be up to 5 years. They say after 5 years on a railroad, you should be good. You should be able to hold just about anything. But they say to give it a good 5 years. And I actually got a video coming out where I just got done shooting at, and it talks about don't quit. And I'm basically saying, hey, hang in there. The railroad could be tough when it comes to seniority and being away from home when it comes to maybe getting forced. And I'm just telling you guys reasons to stay and hang in there and not to quit. So that video is going to be coming out soon. Let's see what else we got. Are you allowed? Okay, Eric is asking, are you allowed to wear your wristwatch or wedding band? Um, hmm. I wear a watch for sure. I got a Michael Kors watch. I actually wish I had it on me so I could show you guys. But it's not a digital, it's like an analog watch. I don't, the only watches they don't allow is like smart watches. You can't have like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or anything like that. So you have to have like something that's not going to interfere with signals or pick up a signal. So you definitely want to get yourself like a cheap analog or digital watch or something like that. And then there's some watch brands that are made for railroading. I can't Swatch maybe could be a brand that has railroader style watches. So look into that if you guys want a nice style railroaders watch that you can wear. As far as wedding band, I don't see why you can't wear a wedding band. I mean, it ain't gonna interfere with any of the trains. So yeah, as long as you don't have fear of losing it, when you're on a railroad, you're gonna be doing you're gonna use your hands a lot, hand brakes and glad hands, and you're gonna be doing a lot with your hands. So just hope that that ring is not gonna fall off your finger while you're at work. So as long as you ain't gonna lose it, why you should be able to wear it, right? What else we got? DR is saying Norfolk Southern started the automation training program in Australia. I don't like automation; it's too dangerous. Yep, I agree. I think automation is not a good idea when it comes to trains. If you guys haven't already heard the news, there was a huge UP collision yesterday. One guy was missing, one guy was killed. I believe two were injured. It was terrible. 50 cars were derailed and everything. It was bad. And that's not even automation. That was two trains that just happened to crash, two UP trains that just happened to collide with each other, right? Um, and that is those trains were manned with people, right? So we have these kind of incidents with people. Imagine what can happen with automation, right? I mean, it's scary. So we'll see. I think we got a long way to go before we see automation become efficient. So I don't think we got anything to worry about for a long time. I mean, it's going to be a while before we get to that type of technology, I'm thinking, where it's actually efficient and it can be trusted. You know what I'm saying? What else we got here? Lewis is saying, I don't trust those robots. Yep, me either. Scott saying, I know they banned cigarettes on trains, but do they allow chew tobacco usage? Now, I can't speak for other railroads, but at BN, yes, guys do chew. Cigarette smoke in our rule book, it says not to smoke cigarettes on the train. And some of our engines have cameras on them, so a lot of people don't even risk it. But for chew, I definitely for sure know that guys are chewing and it's fine. So you're good there. That's what BN. I don't know about UP and some of these other railroads. So make sure you ask that question with the railroad you're going to hire out with. Let's see. Thank you for your video, man. We all appreciate it. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Skilled jobs. Is it true that you shouldn't buy a car or a house working on the railroad? Well, no, that ain't. I mean, yeah, if you're working on well, I think what people are saying is if you're new hire on the railroad, then people say not to buy a house or a car for like your first year because you could get furloughed. You could get, you just don't even know what your situation is. You don't know if you're going to hold it work yet. So, a lot of people say when you first hire on, wait a year to get an idea of how everything looks before you go out and buy a house or a car. And that's what, that's common sense, right? I mean, you got to make sure you can hold in that area you're at, that you're not going to get furloughed. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, you should definitely wait at least 1 year before you take on responsibilities like a house or a car. Unless you got a side hustle like a business on the side, or something like that. But if that's your primary source of income, I would recommend waiting to make sure you're secure. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Is it true that you shouldn't buy? Okay, I already read that. Skill Joe saying, do you get paid when you're furloughed to keep up with any bills? There is railroad unemployment. I know that's the case with BN. I'm not sure with the other railroads and how they work. I know that I believe if you work for the railroad for less than 1 year, then you can get state unemployment. Okay. If you have been with the railroad for a year and you get furloughed, there is railroad unemployment. However, I heard that is not that much. It's probably like $50 a day or something. So I wouldn't bank on that. So that's about all you're gonna get, unless now there's always, if you get furloughed, you guys and I'm gonna do a video on that, what happens if you get furloughed sooner or later. But just know that if you get furloughed, I'm sure you will have the chance to chase work. And that just basically means that find work in other terminals or other cities that you can hold and work until you're called back to your terminal. So you don't necessarily have to sit there and be furloughed and sit at home and wait to get called. You can take the initiative of chasing work, or you can try to get yourself forced to an area to work. And if you get forced, they will pay your lounging for you and everything else. So the best bet is to try to get forced so that that's paid for, your lounging and per diem or whatever. And if they're not going to force you and you have to chase work, then if that's something you want to do to keep working, then that should be an option, maybe, depending on if anything else is available, anything out there, right? So you don't necessarily have to just take a furlough. You can also chase, okay? Let's see what else we got. What does the term, okay, Eric is saying, what does the term marked up mean? All right, so marked up means that you are ready to be on, that you are marked up to the board, right? And the board could either be the extra board, conductor's board, the brakeman's board, the engineer's extra board, a board, right? Where you are assigned your work. So you're either marked up to a board or you're a student and you're not marked up because you're a student and you're training, or you're on the bump board, right? So let's say there's 3 boards you're working on. So when you say that, when you hear the term marked up, that just means that you are released from training, you're done with training, so you're ready to mark up and you're ready to get on a board so that you can work. If you're on a bump board, which means that you've been bumped off a job by somebody with more seniority, then that means that you are on the bump board and you need to get yourself marked up to a work board. And the bump board, the way ours work at BN is you can be on a bump board for about 48 hours before the board will assign you to a job that you can hold and work. But a lot of times you don't want to wait for the board to move you, because then they say, you're not making your seniority move, or you're not exercising your seniority right. And they can put you in a job or days off that you don't want. So do not let the bump board move you. Always move yourself before the board does, because you could be placed on a board you don't want to be on, days off you don't want to be on. So do not let that happen. Also, in some cases, if you're on a bump board too long, that could be a reason to get furloughed, because the bump board is saying, well, you're on the bump board, you can't seem to mark up anywhere. There's nowhere for you to go, so you're going to be furloughed. So a lot of guys just try to stay off the bump board and they keep trying to find a spot to mark up to. Okay, so that's what marked up is. Let's see. Our lunch is only really 20 minutes long. I don't know anything about that. Not with, where I'm at. I mean, lunches is what you need for lunch. I mean, you're gonna get your work. You're gonna get, like, if you're in the yard, you're gonna get a switch list. You go out, you do that work, right? You can either finish all the work, come in for lunch, or in some cases you do part of the work and then you come in for coffee. We call it coffee. That means you come in for a cup. You might want to have a quick snack. That could be a 20-minute type thing. But as far as putting a time limit, I mean, where I'm at, there is no set time on lunches or breaks. We're all grown men. We all know we have a job to do. You have a switch list. The yard master is going to tell you what needs to be done. They're not telling you, hey, you got 20 minutes, eat your lunch, then hurry up, hurry up. No, I've never heard that. I've never heard a time limit put on that. Just get your job done, get the work done, take the time you need to eat or go get something to eat. To me, the railroad is very free. There's a lot of freedom. And, that's where the responsibility comes in. And that's what I was talking about in my video on how to land a job on a railroad, was being pretty much independent and responsible, because you're going to have those situations where you got to be responsible enough to have a lunch break and go get your food and eat at a decent time and get your work done at the end of the day. So I don't know. I've never heard anything about a set time frame for lunches. That could be certain railroads, but not with mine. So check with your railroad how that works. But for the most part, I would think it's more of how much work you guys got the workload and just getting it done in timely fashion. Um, let's see. What is my opinion on, what does that say? Are you trying to, Phoenix Lightwing? Are you trying to say, what is my opinion on furloughs? Is that what you mean to say? It says Furies, or so are you trying to say furloughs maybe? Um, if that's what you're saying, my opinion is it is what it is. You can't control the railroad. If you're furloughed, wait it out, chase work, like I was saying earlier. Try to get forced somewhere else to work. Some guys, they like the break. They can spend time with their kids or take a break to focus on, a side job or something they're doing. So me, it is what it is. I don't think about it much. If it happens, then it's out of my control. So, well, I just have to go from there. As you guys know, I run a business as well, stickywebdomains.com. That's a domain name business where I sell domain names. You can register domain names and hosting and email addresses and all that good stuff. So that's kind of my side hustle, is my website. So yeah, I think I discussed that in one of my videos, an introduction to me video of what I do and on the side and everything. What else we got? When on the road, do the hotels usually have exercise equipment? Yep. A lot of hotels I've been to definitely has exercise equipment. And for the most part, I'll bring a change of clothes, some tennis shoes, and some workout gear. Either I take some walks or just jump on a treadmill or whatever. I try to do that if I can. Sometimes you're so tired from the road, you don't even have time to even think about wanting to exercise. You just want to sleep. So it all depends on how long you're going to be in that hotel. And if you are going to be in a hotel for 24 hours or longer, then yeah, bring some extra clothes, and just in case you might want to get some exercise in. It never hurts to get exercise in wherever you're at, right? So yeah, and a lot of hotels are going to have that. So yeah, good question. That was by Eric. Skill Joe is saying, I want to finish my bachelor's online to get into management. Is it worth it to become a manager? Do they get paid as well as a conductor and get better schedules? Oh man, I guess when you're saying manager, you talking like a train master? Because when you're getting into those management roles, you got to understand, now you're a salary employee, and I don't think you're even in the union on some of these management jobs. So you lose that opportunity to be in the union. So you're giving up some stuff, but at the same time, you're getting something. So, and then, I think as a train master, I think their schedules are pretty decent. They work like two, 3 12-hour shifts on, and then they get like 3 days off. So I feel like the schedule's pretty nice. But the stress level, a manager has a big responsibility. You got to manage people. Do you want that stress? Can you handle it? So you got to ask yourself these questions. Being a train master is not an easy job. So just know what you're getting yourself into if you decide to go into management, and just make sure that it is for you, right? But I believe, you're losing money in a sense, because I don't think you're going to get overtime and all that. Your salary, for what I believe. But you should be able to get some better days off, and you might have a better work-life balance, perhaps, maybe. So, but if you have the skills for management, give it a shot. I always say shoot for the stars. So why not? If you don't like it, from what I hear, as long as you're paying into union dues, you can always go back to being a conductor or on the ground. So if you decide to go in the manager position and you don't like it, you should have the opportunity to go back to being a conductor on the ground or something. So you can always give it a try and see if you like it, right? What else we got? Tony Green. When you're on the road, do you get paid for staying away from home in motels until you return to your terminal? I mean, when you say that you get paid, it's not like, it's not like they're gonna give you cash money and say, here's some money for you while you're in this hotel for the night. I mean, you get paid on your check. When you get your check, you're gonna get paid for that hotel stay or whatever, but they're not gonna give you like a per diem cash at hand type of thing, kind of like maybe a truck driver would get or something like that. So yeah, you'll get paid on your check, but you're not gonna get any kind of special bonus money for being in a hotel for the night or anything like that. So, um, 2 hours, furry, 2 hours. I'm still your Phoenix furry. You're still killing me with furry. I don't know what furry is. Not a job related thing. Furry. I have no clue, man. You got to break that down for me. I'm not sure what you are trying to say with that. What do you enjoy the most? The yard, the road, etc. Well, I liked the road a lot when I started. However, I couldn't hold the road. So I wasn't working it as much. And then the more I'm not working the road, the more I get more nervous about working the road because I feel like I have to remember everything. And you just get more nervous when you're not doing something as much. You just feel like you need more practice at it. And I haven't had a lot of practice on the road because I haven't been on it a lot. I've been in the yard for the most part because that's all I can hold is being in the yard. So I'm getting more adjusted to the yard at this point, especially now that, I'm doing YouTube videos. It just gives me time and days off to be able to give you guys these videos and edit and all the stuff that comes with that. So as right now with my lifestyle and the way my lifestyle is, the yard has been a good fit. But I do hope to one day get back on the road and get more practice at it because there's a lot to know on the road. You got to talk to dispatchers. You're doing track warrants and you got to know CTC, which is centralized traffic control. You got to know how to, there's Form A's, Form B's, Form C's. There's so much information to know, so many rules on the road when it comes to track. The signals. It's a lot, man. So I'm just not on the road enough to keep that information as strong as I would like it. So until I can hold the road, I'll give it another shot and try to get out there. But right now, I just can't hold it enough to even worry about it. So I'm just hanging out, kicking it in the yard, and taking what I can get as of right now. So, Skill Joe, is there an extra board just for the yard? Well, when you're on the extra board, you get called for anything. Yeah. Well, in my terminal, we have what we call a daily mark. And the daily mark is like a board that you can mark up to where you're not exactly on call, because if you're on the daily mark board, you will know the job you're going to work a day before. And a lot of guys like that, so they mark up to that board. The only thing about a daily mark that some guys don't like is on a daily mark board, you got guaranteed 5 days a week, but you're going to know when you're working. You're going to know the job you're working on, and you're going to know the shift. But a lot of guys don't want to work 5 days a week. So that's when they go on the extra board. Because on the extra board, you might be able to slide a day off here and there because of the way the board, moves. Some guys, they like those days off to do other things. And some guys might be in school, and some guys might have a hobby. So they're like, I'm going to go on the extra board and maybe I'll work 3 days a week. And, because on the extra board, there's a guaranteed pay. On the daily mark, there is no guaranteed pay because you're guaranteed to work 5 days a week. So some guys will just take the guaranteed pay and not work 5 days a week, but they're going to make that guarantee every half. So take that in consideration. Not all the terminals or all the railroads even have what they call the daily mark board. I don't know if it's just a division thing when it comes to my division in the Twin Cities. It could just be a division thing. I don't know. But for the most part, you will hear about the extra board. And on the extra board, you are on call. Um, so they will call you for anything. As long as you're certified to work on the road and all that, then they will call you for it. Now, if you have not been on the road in like a year, then you can turn down that job and say, hey, I haven't been on the road in a year. I need to refamiliarize myself. I need a pilot to come with me to familiarize me with the job because it's been so long. So um, just know that the extra board, you it is for anything and it is on call. We use an app called the Mobility app. Our app is pretty accurate, gives us a good projection of when to expect to go to work. So I know Union Pacific, I believe they have the same kind of app as well. So just get all the apps you need and everything to follow the board and kind of get an idea when you're going to go to work. That way you're not going out partying and drinking and then you get a call saying to come to work and you have to lay off on call, meaning you have to basically not go to work. You don't want to do that. That could be like, that could put you in front of the red carpet, put you up for investigation. The railroad is all about availability. You're being hired for being available. And when you're not available, then you're not making the railroad happy. So always make yourself available. So follow those apps and get an idea when you're working so there's no big surprise when you get called, you're ready to go. Let's see if we got anything else. Is the railroad life worth it? Is it the best job you ever had? Do you plan on going for engineer? I haven't thought much about being an engineer. There's so much things I hear about being an engineer that kind of scares me about doing it. And that's basically being on the engineer's extra board. There's a lot of turning and burning. Once you become an engineer, you cannot come back to a conductor, right? So if you don't like being an engineer, you can't just say, hey, I don't want to be an engineer anymore. I want to be a conductor again. No, they're not going to let that happen. They're going to force you to be an engineer as long as you are qualified to be an engineer. So once you make that decision to be an engineer, there is no going back. They invest the money in you to get that extra training, and they want that money back from you. So a lot of railroads, once you have committed to being an engineer, you go through the engineer's program, you are a lifetime engineer, and you cannot demote yourself back down on the ground as a conductor anymore. And if you can hold as an engineer, you're going to work as an engineer. Now, in my terminal, there's a lot of guys who are engineers but can't hold as engineers. So they're working as switchmen or conductors. So just know that once you become an engineer, you can't change your mind. And that's kind of the part that scares me a little bit is what if I don't like it? Some, engineers extra board, those guys work a lot. It's a lot of turning and burning, man. It's a lot of being on the road and a lot of being away from your family. So if that's the lifestyle you can handle, then great. If not, you might want to make sure that, you're doing your research and whatnot. Me, I think I'll be good with being a hostler. And that's what I am. I move light locomotives around and I do the yard moves and things like that. That's good enough for me. As long, it's fun to ride those engines and have control of it and be behind that beast. So that's good enough for me. I don't necessarily think I have to be an engineer to be satisfied. So I'm good at being a conductor and a switchman and a brakeman. And, for now I'm good. I haven't thought about it much. You never know. But for now, I think I'm just going to sit tight as a conductor. Let's see. What else do we got? How does PTO work? Does it even exist on the railroad? Yeah, there's PLT days, personal time off days you can get. I don't know about other railroads, but with BNSF, you get up to 3. I got 3 already, and I just started in February. Come next year, I'll probably get another 3. But they work the same as anything else. When you need a personal time off, you take it. You use it. I haven't had to use any because Being on the extra board, I've had enough time off. Between being on the extra board or on the bump board, you know, when you're on a bump board, you get 48 hours off being on the bump board. So that's time off too. So between that, I really haven't had to use any. It's not good practice to stay on a bump board long though. And you can actually hit availability for being on the bump board too much. Because some guys use it as a strategy. They try to get on a bump board on purpose. They try to get bumped so that they can get a day off and not have to use their personal time or sick days or lay off sick or anything. So there's strategies about the bump board that railroads don't like people utilizing. So there is ways to get in trouble for putting yourself on the bump board too much, and that's called hitting availability. And that just means you're not putting enough hours of work in a month. And then, you know, soon I'm going to put a video about availability. So we can't go into all that right now because it's too much to talk about. But as far as time off, that's basically how that works. If you're working the road, they have what you call smart rest. That means after 4 starts, you can smart rest for anywhere from 24 hours to 48 hours if you choose to. If you work 6 starts on the road, then you hit RISA, and that means you automatically get 2 days off. If you work 7 starts on the road, you get 3 days off because that's the FRA, that's RISA, that's your rest cycle, so that's guaranteed. Does railroad retirement really take out a big chunk of your paycheck for being? Oh man, yeah, I guess you know railroad, they take out a nice portion. I'm not gonna say it's a big chunk. I don't really even think about it anymore or even look at it. I guess it's just like paying any tax. You know, it's your pension. You know, it's your money. That money's gonna be taking care of you. So I don't think about it. I look at it as 401k. You know, that's the money that's gonna provide for me when I'm retired, when I hit 60. And that money's going to provide for my spouse because my spouse will get half of what I get. So I don't think about it. I just look at it as an investment in my own future. So don't, even worry about it. If you plan on being on the railroad put your years in, you need 30 years to be vested. To be fully vested, you need 30 years. But of course, you're vested after about 5 years. You're vested in your pension. So I don't think about it because it's my money that's going to me. So yeah, you guys, we are going an hour and almost 30 minutes. We are way going over the time here that I've meant to do. One last job I want to tell you guys about is RCO. Let me see here. I think I showed this to you guys before. But this is a RCO vest. This is what you wear. The remote box will go here. You clip that box in here. In my vest, I carry my certification, RCO certification, just in case something happens, an accident. I can show that I am certified. But this is a harness. When you wear this, you guys, you don't need a safety vest. This has safety reflective wear. So this doubles as your safety vest when it comes to BN. I don't know about other railroads. And some railroads don't even do RCO anymore. RCO could be fairly dangerous because you're controlling a engine, a locomotive with a remote control. So a lot of railroads are getting away from RCO, but that is a job that you might be doing depending on your railroad and depending on the terminal. So just know that you may be doing some remote control jobs. And that is called RCO. And that is the third job I want to tell you guys about to be aware of that you possibly will be working on the railroad. Well, you guys, it's been great, man. It's been over an hour. I think we are pretty much all up to speed for now. I'm exhausted with talking. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. Eric, Scott D, all you guys, Skill Job, Skill Joe, 55, Tony Green. Thanks to everybody for coming, man. I appreciate it. It's always good to do a live show and have people that you actually can talk to. So appreciate it. Look out for some more videos. I will be posting some more soon. I just got done with that channel trailer. If you guys haven't seen the channel trailer, check it out. Let me know what you think about that. That kind of took me some time to put together, so that kind of couldn't put a video out yesterday, Friday, because I was working on that. So I decided to go live today to make up for that video. But yeah, that's the 3 jobs that you guys are gonna want to know: utility, hostler, RCO. Okay, remember that. And I think we had a pretty productive live chat today. I think we got some good Q&A out of this. And let's meet up soon, you guys. This was fun, man. So let's do this again soon. If you guys are not subscribed and you just happen to be listening, what are you waiting for, man? You know, be a part of this Sticky Web Nation. Be a part of this community. Be a part of this family. Subscribe. Hit that alert bell. That way you know when I am online or uploading a video. Share this video, you guys, if you think it's going to help somebody. Sharing is caring. So help me out, man. I'm putting in a lot of work. So help me distribute these videos, you guys. You know, you're my people, man. We're a community, right? So let's help each other. And if you guys like this video, man, you guys don't forget to hit that like button. That helps me with getting these videos ranked and getting other people to be able to see them. So hit that like button if you already haven't. And until the next time, you guys, I will see you on the rails. Peace.